98% of people lose because they don't realize life is a game, with winners and losers. What separates winners? It's their ability to create the reality they actually want. That's why you're watching this, and I'm going to show you how to do it. But first, it's crucial to understand why most people, 98%, lose at this game called reality. Because that's all it is, a game. And I'm about to share 5 rules of the game. Rules no one told you when you first got here on this physical plane. We grow up thinking success is all about money, or school, or learning some specific job skill, but truthfully, there's no education greater than universal knowledge. Metaphysics, understanding the nature of reality, is the highest form of knowledge. That's why secret societies literally exist to keep this information hidden from you. So let's ask the real question: how do you win the game of reality? If that's not a question you've ever asked yourself, then I don't really know what to tell you, because chances are you've already lost. Step 1. You need to be extremely intentional about how you view the world around you, because until you change how you see life, life won't change how it shows up for you. Why? Because you are life. You're the universe itself. You are your own entire universe. But before I even get into the 5 rules, I need to make one thing super clear. 98% of people see life as a battle. And as long as that's your perception, it will be true. That mindset is part of the reason they stay stuck. And I'll explain which rule that ties into. But here's the shift. It's not a battle. It's a game. And once you can truly see life that way, it immediately puts you ahead of 98% of people. Most are trapped by self-created suffering, stuck in patterns of failure, hardship, and frustration because they think life is meant to be a struggle. But if you view it as a game and normalize that perspective, then the cheat code I'm about to give you will actually start to make sense. So lock in, because here's the first rule. Rule number 1, reality isn't a physical game. You might have come into this knowledge recently, but most people are still stuck in the idea that reality is only physical. They're confined to the 3rd dimension, thinking everything begins and ends there. They think cause and effect only operate in the physical world. But here's a question for you. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you work physically, something still blocks you from reaching your goals? Maybe it's frustration, doubt, or feeling stuck in the same patterns. That's because reality isn't just what you see and touch. There are multiple dimensions and 3 planes of existence. But to keep things simple, think of 2 for now: the physical plane and the mental plane. Most people believe hard work is the way to change their lives. And honestly, you probably grew up in a household where your parents worked non-stop. And maybe you're doing that now, working non-stop just to stay afloat. But what most people don't realize is they don't know where they really are. Once you understand what reality actually is, you'll see that the game you're playing has never been physical. Working hard is really just physical action, but it's not about how much you do. It's about understanding what's going on behind the scenes. 98% of people work hard. They think that's the way to win, but they're stuck in the physical, unaware of the deeper layers of the game. 98% of people work hard. They take physical action to get results. In their minds, winning the game means acting within this 3rd dimensional reality we call life. And that's exactly why so many of us watch our parents stuck in the same cycles, generation after generation. They don't understand how the real game is played. Taking physical action in the 3rd dimensional realm? It's irrelevant. Reality isn't a physical game. Rule number 2, belief is the controller. So what is reality? Since it's not physical, what's going on? Relax, you're about to get some real insight. Reality is a mental and spiritual game. That's the first thing you have to grasp. The real game happens on levels you can't see, and that's the actual game behind everything. Now, most people think the game is about physical actions. They believe if they just hustle harder in the physical world, they'll win. But the truth is, the winners are those who play the game on the mental plane. Reality is not a physical game. Beat that into your head, because right now you're caught up in the same trap as everyone else. Until you break free from these lies, you're like a fly trapped in a room, banging your head against the window trying to get out. If you just turned your perspective 180 degrees, you'd fly right out. Belief controls everything. Every thought, feeling, and expectation creates a frequency, and that frequency attracts your reality. Think about this. Have you ever met someone who just seems to win effortlessly? They aren't necessarily working harder physically, but their belief, mindset, and energy put them miles ahead. That's the game you're playing. Rule number 3, identity is the lock. And the key, here's what you need to know. There are 3 planes of existence, but to simplify the game, I'm focusing on 2, the mental plane and the physical plane. The physical plane is what we call reality. It's where most people work hard, trying to change their lives. This is the realm of effect. The mental plane is the realm of cause. Here's the problem most people have. They want to win. They want to create their desired reality, but they ask, what physical action can I take to change my reality? That's like trying to change an effect by changing another effect. Does that make sense? If you want to change an effect, you have to change the cause. An effect cannot change another effect. Only a cause can change an effect. Stay with me. Most people jump straight into physical action thinking it'll get them what they want, but they don't change the cause that's behind those actions. Think about your identity, your core beliefs about yourself. If deep down you see yourself as not enough or a failure, no amount of physical action will break you free. Your identity is the lock, but also the key. When you shift your identity, everything changes. Rule number 4, frequency chooses your timeline. Let me give you an example. Think about New Year's resolutions. Every January, tons of people want to get fit. They want to transform their bodies. Now, imagine someone mentally unfit. They're unfit on the mental plane. They decide, I'll just work out and become fit physically. So they take physical action, hitting the gym hard for weeks or even months. But then what happens? They fall off. Why? Because mentally on the mental plane, the realm of cause, they're still unfit. You can't break free from the mental boundaries your mind has constructed as truth. If you're unfit mentally, physical fitness is temporary. Eventually, your mind pulls you back into old habits. It's the same with wealth. People grind physically, working hard to be rich, but mentally they're still in poverty. That's the real game. Now let me break it down with 3 simple words. Do, have, be. Most people, 98%, think like this. If I do, take physical action, then I have my desired reality, and then I be secure, peaceful, content. This is how most people operate, thinking if they just work harder, they'll have what they want, and then they'll feel free, calm, and stress-free. They say, if I just work harder, I'll hit my revenue goals, then I'll be happy. But this way of thinking is exactly why so many lose the game. Rule number 5, time is an illusion, and you're already it. Time is not real. It's a mental construct used to measure change. But in the higher dimensions, the ones that actually control reality, everything exists all at once. That version of you you're chasing, the one who has the money, the body, the peace, the power, that version of you already exists. So why haven't you experienced it yet? Because you haven't become the frequency of that version yet. The game isn't about becoming something new. It's about remembering who you already are. You don't manifest by chasing, you manifest by aligning. When you think it's going to happen someday, you literally push it into the future. You tell reality, this version of me is separate. So guess what? Reality keeps it separate. Stop looking forward, start looking inward. Time makes you think you have to wait, but the universe doesn't operate on clocks. It operates on alignment. Collapse time by collapsing doubt. Collapse time by collapsing separation. Because the only gap between you and the life you want is the belief that there's a gap at all. You're not becoming, you're revealing. Let me say it again. You're not becoming something you're not. You're just removing what you're not. All the pain, all the struggle, most of it came from forgetting who you really are. So this is your reminder. You're the cause. You're the controller. You're the creator. This isn't motivation. This is metaphysics. So let's wrap this up with a recap. Reality isn't a physical game. Belief is the controller. Identity is the lock and the key. Frequency chooses your timeline. Time is an illusion, and you're already it. 98% of people will never even consider this. They'll keep grinding in the physical, doubting their power, trapped in time, stuck in loops. But if you made it this far, you're part of the 2%, the ones who wake up. So now it's your move. Reality doesn't change when you wish. It changes when you decide. Decide to play the real game. And don't just play to survive. Play to win.